Good day. This is Ray. Today is Saturday, May 17th, 2025 for me. Another day of learning and growing. Hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well and staying safe. So I was trying to think about a topic to speak about this morning. And really the thing that's been sticking with me for the past week or so is the time it takes to pay off a significant amount of consumer debt with limited financial resources. And having to deal with a chronic illness like me, not saying I'm a chronic illness, but I'm living with a chronic illness and lupus, and having regular doctor's appointments every year, meeting my deductible, some years meeting my out-of-pocket maximum, having heavy student loan debt, medical debt, credit card debt, all the above. And the journey is, for me, has been long. So it's been exactly 5 years. It was actually June of 2020. It's almost 5 years that I identified I had $158,041.89 of consumer debt. And that's really, I believe, the pivotal moment for me when I decided to just go ahead and tackle it and try to get from underneath that. And I've made some significant progress, but it can be a little bit slow, and I'm making some sacrifices in other areas. What some people might consider sacrifices, like not taking vacations, throwing parties, furnishing a second bedroom, delayed gratification, and even some upgrades to things that I wanted to do, like to my patio, that I've just put off because I want to pay off this debt and to eventually pay off the home. So, it could be stressful in some ways. In January, I had said that this year I was going to pay off my last personal loan, and it's a stretch goal because I'm paying upwards of almost $900 a month to be able to do this. I pay down that debt at least by $825 a month. And this month, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do it because I got hit with a what's called a special assessment as part of my homeowners association fees, and it was $1,640. And I said, well, I guess that means I'm not going to be able to hit this target of paying down this personal loan by $825 a month. But because I learned how to budget, I learned how to set aside the money for it. It actually didn't keep me from hitting that target, and I will give my financial update in 2 weeks at the end of the month. May 31st is going to be on a Saturday. And, I'm just in a much different place, and I do have money for food still. A few weeks ago, I went to a friend and mentor's funeral. Had to get a hotel room, ate out a few times, and had to fill up my gas tank a few times. And even though I hadn't necessarily budgeted for it, I had money set aside. I was able to allocate enough money to be able to cover those expenses without going further back into debt, which is ultimately the goal, not to go further back. I do have an emergency fund. If I had to, I could have dipped into the emergency fund to be able to cover the unexpected expense of the special assessment. Didn't have to do that. I made my extra payment on my personal loan yesterday, and I'm still okay. I'll have about, between pay periods, I have about $600 in between this pay period and the next pay period, and then I have to set aside money on my last paycheck of this month, which is on the 30th. Set aside part of it for the rest of the mortgage payment for next month, as well as a portion of my regular HOA payment next month. But anyway, there's a burden with carrying the type of debt that I did. Right now, the debt that I have is about like having an expensive car, close to $40,000 left on my debt. And a significant portion of that debt is the student loans. And so mentally, I'm thinking about next year with how I'm going to tackle that. But right now I'm focused on hitting the target each month of paying this personal loan. It is my biggest payment besides my mortgage that I'm making each month, and it's a commitment that I shared at the beginning of the year. Now I'm 5 months into it, and I have hit my target each month. That I'm grateful for that, and I hope to continue to do that. And then before I know it, I'll be done with that personal loan, and then I could just pay off the student loans. Realistically, the most I paid off in about a year's period of time was $19,000. As a homeowner, I think the highest amount of paying off consumer debt in a year was $12,000. So, not sure if I can pay off my student loan next year. I'll be looking at around $30,000 worth of student loans left. But a lot of my money is going to be focused on paying that off. And I am going to reach out to my servicer and ask them, it's like, what monthly payment would I need to make to be able to pay it off in a year? And if it's something doable, something realistic, then that's what I'll do. If not, then I'll set a target of around 2 years to pay off the remainder of my debt. So that being the case, next year is 2026, and let's say I finish paying off my debt 2028. The journey started in 2020, so a total of 8 years to pay off $115,041.89. It is a commitment. It's more than being in college and high school combined, if you think about it that way. But it's a worthwhile journey. And then, after that, I can build up my full emergency fund, enough to cover a year's worth of expenses, and then accelerate the debt payment on my home. And ultimately, the goal is to, be completely debt-free before I retire in 18 to 20 years. So, if you're younger than me, which probably a lot of people who watch my videos are, get started early and don't be intimidated by your debt. You may only have, when I say only, you may have $2,000 worth of debt. But that $2,000 worth of debt may seem like $100,000 worth of debt, considering your current financial circumstances. You may not have a job. Your income may be very low getting started off. And, you may still be in what's considered to be a spending cycle, a debt spending cycle. You've got to get off that ride right now and stop trying to keep up with everybody else. Just focus on, trying to build a future for yourself, and maybe, getting married, having a family, being able to provide for your parents if necessary. This is the best time to do that. It's something I didn't learn until my 40s. And it's possible that I will be out of consumer debt before I hit 50, and which would be great. As a matter of fact, that's the pace I'm on. Wish I had started earlier. I didn't. That's okay. I'm a budgeting master now. If somebody gave me $200 today, I know exactly where that money's going to go and how to use it right, and not no more impulse buying, none of that stuff. I just want to say, even though it is a burden and everybody's situation is different, do not compare yourself to anybody else's situation. It's not a race. If you can get out of debt in a few months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it takes, just do it. Stay focused. That's all to it. I don't have any other news besides that right now. There's a few things that I'm working on, and I'm going to try to catch up on some rest today if I can. It's been a bit of a long week, and I'm anticipating probably about the same next week. Work-wise, health has been up and down, but I seem to be fairly stable today. A little bit painful in my legs, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. If you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. You know when I post my videos. You can find me at youtube.com/@NotInMyBudget. As always, thank you for watching. You all take care.